a union issue. Because Chris represents working people. People who are very hardworking, who are doing extremely important jobs, who may also have sometimes a hard time making ends meet. And this bill can help his members. Chris?
Thank you, Assemblywoman, for the invitation and also for your leadership in the Assembly. And Reverend, thank you for your hospitality here. I bring you greetings from the 70,000 members of CWA who work and live in the state of New Jersey. We are a diverse union in all different communities all over. But for me, where my heart is those members who live in the communities like Newark, like Plainfield, the urban communities, where I see people who, some who are now retired, that maybe 30 years ago, like my mentor, Vicki Thurston, who became a secretary, clerical worker at DIFAS, and in doing so, working for the state, became an anchor in the community in Newark where she lived, was able to become a homeowner, and wasn't just an anchor for her family, but became an anchor for the entire community. And so many women like that, like my own mother, who just about 7 years after immigrating from the Dominican Republic, was able to get a job with the union, and with that, able to work my father to buy a house, which I grew up in the beginning of my life in Plainfield, but just like so many other people, within 9 years, could not make ends meet, and we lost our house. So I went through that. I went through seeing us go up and live in something of a little bit of comfort and some security, to then losing it and being dropped all the way back down because we didn't have that generational wealth, that backstop. We didn't have somebody who had generations worth of equity that could say, we're going to bail you out. So we lost everything. And we see that happen so much. And our members, work hard every day, not just in their jobs, but they give extra time to organize in their workplace because they understand that it's when we unite, is when we become powerful, and when we build power every day in the workplace, but we also understand the need to build power in the community. And home ownership is one of those ways, because like I said, when you're able to buy a house and you're able to start investing like that, you're not just building for yourself, you're building for the rest of your family, you're building for the rest of your community, right? And that's how we start seeing people move up. But so many times, you see our communities, Black and Latino communities, poor communities, take one step forward and 5 or 6 steps back. In 2008, 2009, when the whole bubble crashed, right? Houses lost their value. But in the suburbs, where people had the generational wealth and they were able to they had that kind of a backstop, banks were willing to work with them and restructure their mortgages. But when we tried to do it, right, you got the runaround. You got I don't handle your mortgage anymore, now this does, and you got to resubmit. I remember when it happened to me and my wife in 2009. Citizen Action helped me out, but in the end, it was so much that we couldn't even keep it. And I'm somebody who has a college degree, my wife has a master's, and we were first generation moving up to the middle class, and we got, boom, dropped right back down again. So it is demoralizing. It didn't just hurt us. We were people who were trying to be involved in our community in Plainfield. We could have moved somewhere else. We moved back to my home, where my birthplace, said we're gonna build something here. But then it all comes crashing down, and it took me out of that. I just want to take other people out of that. So when this happens, it's not just that, I lost some money in my pocket, or I'm not rich, or when we talk about building wealth in our community, we're not talking about greedy people trying to get rich. We're talking about communities trying to build their power so they can live with dignity, so that they can then have the resources to have that extra time to coach the football team or the soccer team or the cheerleading squad. Because when you're working multiple jobs just to keep a roof over your head, then you don't have the time to do those things. And when you go into the suburbs, the wealthier people, they have all these thriving programs because they have a lot of excess time on their hands. Because they have that generational built-up wealth. We don't have that. And so, if we want to see our communities thrive, we need to build our collective wealth. And this bill that Assemblywoman Timberlake has been a champion of and is fighting for needs to get passed, not just so that some individuals can get wealthy. That's not what we mean by community wealth. We mean building community power so that we can rise up as a community, Latino, Black, poor, white, so we can all rise up and then be able to push back against those corporations and those billionaires who are trying to take it all. They don't have enough. They need to take the crumbs out of our pockets. They need to take the little bit of food off of our children's plates. And we need to stand up and fight back. And we have a saying in CWA. And Hetty Rosenstein, who was our leader for a long, long time, says it all the time, that when we fight, we win. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fight and we're going to win. We're going to call the governor. We're going to tell him, we're going to tell our friend that we believe him when he says he wants to make New Jersey fairer and stronger. But we want to make sure that he remembers that it needs to be stronger and fairer for us too. You know, in politics, and those of you who are involved in campaigns, you know how they refer to Black and Latino voters. We're called the base vote. That's code. You hear them say the base program, that's the Black and Latino vote, right? Why is that? Because without us, they don't win. But we need to push back and say the base needs you to fight for us because we need to win. We need to start winning. We can't just be there to help you win. You have to help us as a community. So we're going to make those calls. We're calling on the governor right now to stand up and do the right thing. Sign this bill as is. Then sign the cleanup bill as is. And stop messing around. Get it done because it's the right thing to do. And we're not going to take this anymore. We need this now. Thank you.